Well, it's that time again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the interview with Craig-Veltri.
Thank you, Megan Pennington, and welcome to the interview. Our guest returns to the program for the first time in 2 years with his new EP, Little Ice Age, an acoustic guitar driven record that shows the New Orleans native still has the great skill of writing a catchy and cheery melody that vividly describes a world falling apart. It's a great 4-song collection, but I'm going with the title track, Little Ice Age 4 Years in Ohio, to play at the end of the episode. The hook alone shows the signature skill of this acerbic yet poignant artist. Recording in Pittsburgh and calling in from Pittsburgh, the man that helped me organize and produce letters to the defendant, leaving me concerned that this might be my fault somehow, Jon Porobil. Jon, welcome to the interview.
This might be your fault.
I,
Oh gosh, how you doing, Craig?
I'm doing just fine. Hey, I walked into your basement and started talking about my relationship falling apart, and I feel it's fair to ask right up at the top, because you are had been very open about your life and your relationship with your wife, and in fact so much so that your one track listing was a marriage proposal to her many years ago. So
Yeah,
I think your fans, and this fan included, would love to ask, after hearing this record, is everything okay in the Portable house?
little surprised I don't get that question more often. I think the people who know me are kind of used to it. Yeah, everything's fine. We had a rough summer. My wife broke her ankle, and so we've been doing a lot of scrambling to medical appointments, and I've been driving the kids around a lot more. But that's that all happened after this EP came out. So
Well,
I
well,
think it's a big part of my process to take like these little inklings of feelings and just kind of blow them up, like extrapolate out to extremes. And so you're feeling a little frustrated. You're like, well, what if I were like super duper frustrated? What would that character say, right? um
we have talked about the potential of you someday maybe writing a musical, and I do think that your method and my method is very similar into that we kind of take the emotion to the point in which it comes out in a song anyway. It's built up so much. So
yeah,
with songs like the opener Sweet Agony, which is just such a bouncy cry of pain and frustration, screaming about your personal failures. What was going on with you that day?
that's I mean, you say screaming, literally screaming. Yeah, blow out my voice recording that one.
Mm-hmm.
uh yeah, I mean, that was the the germ of that song was the front line of the chorus, which I want you to leave me so that I can miss you, and sort of built out the rest of it from there. That was one of those songs that came together very quickly. It kind of felt like it was writing itself. And like I described, I'm more inhabiting a character, um, sort of taking these true emotions that I am feeling, but maybe in more of a fleeting, momentary sense, and sort of blowing them out into this whole caricature that I've built out here of this person who's so unhappy that they're willing to make their life a train wreck. Uh, and um, you know,
That character seems to permeate a lot, and certainly has permeated a lot in the last 3 years. I can't believe, maybe I did talk about it with you last time, but songs like Here Today and songs like Prince Charming off the Camp
mhm.
Collage Kids record, it does seem that the character appears when you want to lean into your anger. Would that be fair to say?
Frustration. I would agree with frustration. In terms of like anger, I think I think maybe it's sort of we're kind of seeing emotional colors differently from each other, maybe a bit.
Mhm.
Because like the songs I have that I feel like really espouse anger the best aren't the big explosive ones.
Good Trouble would be a great example of that.
Yeah. Or the in 2020 I put out that album Stages that has Good Trouble, and the opening track off of that one, Tolling Bell. I think, for my money, that's the angriest song I've ever written, and it's not a loud song. It's a slow burn of a song, but it's really about watching everything around me falling apart.
That was, of course, written during COVID time, so I think everybody was kind of going
Yeah.
through.
Well, that's the funny thing. I published it during COVID times. The first draft of that song, I wrote it back in 2012, I think.
Heavens.
And it was funny revisiting in 2020 and thinking, what was I so mad about then? Everything seems so quaint now.
The penalties of moving on in life. And to the point about the overall tone of the record, it's worth noting that earlier, or should I say not earlier this year, but last year, you released Jon Porobil Is Your New Best Friend, which really does show off your skill on piano, and it's a very greatly arranged EP. This album's very stripped down, Little Ice Age. It's driven by the acoustic guitar.
Yep.
If there is keyboard or in there, it's very sparsely used.
No keyboards on the new EP. Yeah,
there were none. Okay, I thought I might have heard
none at all
on the last track. So a lot of times when I know professional musicians, a lot of the reason they prefer the guitar over the keyboard is transit. You have a home studio, so that can't be the reason. Why is the acoustic driving this record?
It just shook out that way. So I had, cards on the table. The sort of brainstorm version of Little Ice Age was going to be a full LP. And eventually I stripped it down to 4 songs because I felt the sort of urgency to get it out there. I had just put out the New Best Friend EP last year, and I've done the economics of it. I had planned to get a CD copy out in people's hands, and then realized that I would not be able to sell enough to break even, and still without charging what I felt was unfair for 4 songs.
Right.
So then I pivoted to wanting to do another EP relatively quickly, and then a third one to follow, so that I could bundle them together. And in the course of that, I kind of realized some of the material that I had been considering for this second EP, which was going to be sort of the breakup album. Some of the material I just wasn't as enthusiastic about as I had been when I first wrote them.
Understood.
And stripped it down to the basics. And part of that stripping down was also arrangements. I demoed out a really quick version of Sweet Agony because some of our friends over at the Starlight community, we do occasionally what they call the enhanced open mic, where they throw up the back line, and Ronnie gives us Moondogs to play in instead of the Starlight. So I did a quick version to share with some friends. So there's a rough live version with Mike Berkey on the drums, Devin's playing the electric guitar, and Francis Volp is playing the bass. And I rushed that version together in about 3 hours, and liked how the demo sounded so much that I realized, oh man, I don't have to change that much for this to be done. And indeed, I didn't change that much.
I find that all fascinating, and I'd love to talk more about the production, because you would think that home production would leave costs down. So this fascinates me. We'll rabbit ear that here on the Craig Veltri interview with Jon Porobil, proud member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network. For more on Scarfire Media, visit our website, scarfiremedia.com. Check out the new episode of the Cool Brother Podcast, and like, share, and subscribe all of the great podcasts here on the Scarfire Media Podcast Network. And for this podcast in particular, if you're listening to it, like, share, and subscribe. As it's been established, I recorded Letters to Defendant in your basement studio here in Pittsburgh, and you have done all of your records, certainly since you moved to Pittsburgh, output, I think, going back all the way to 2020, as we mentioned, further back perhaps. But uh, and you would think that having a home studio would pretty much eliminate any back end costs. And also, you're not a signed artist; you don't owe anybody anything
Yep.
when you release your records. So I'm assuming the cost is mostly distribution, but your concern in putting out EPs now is one of making your money back. What is the money making the money back? Even though you're your own boss and you own your house, it's worked into the mortgage. Why would that be an issue?
Yeah, I'm specifically talking about the reproduction costs, the CDs, getting
Yeah.
those printed. You know, there's only so much you can cheap out. And for a four-song EP, I wouldn't feel comfortable selling it for the same amount that I sold my 12-song album, The Camouflage Kid. I mean, I didn't think I was going to do CD printings anymore because I don't even have a CD player. I know a lot of other people don't. But when The Camouflage Kid came out in 2024, that's 12 songs, and I'd spent like 4 years on it. Various people came up to me. Enough people came up to me asking if there was going to be a CD that I did the math and I said, okay, if everybody who asks me for one buys one, I'll break even. So I did it.
Well,
And the plan was to do the same for the EPs, but even if I went down a tier, switch from like the digipack folding CD thing to a simple sleeve, I couldn't get the per CD cost down enough to make it worth charging. I sell the album for $10. I definitely wouldn't feel right charging any more than $5 for an EP that only has 4 songs on it.
mm.
And for that, cutting the unit cost in half, economics just didn't make sense. So I decided to wait until I had more material and bundle them all together.
So, and I figured that a lot of the reason that you were putting out EPs, it was just like you had uh songs that went together and you pushed it out
Mhm.
as you got it. Is that to say that you're not thinking about stringing these records together for a full EP or not?
Yeah, I mean the next physical release is going to be something like the 3 EPs or something like that. I don't know, title TBD, but it'll be the Jon Porobil is Your New Friend EP and Little Ice Age, and the next one, which I was hoping to have out this fall, but like I said, my wife broke her foot, and that really made me have to shift some timetable stuff around. But stay tuned. So we'll have that third one, and then I'll move on to a proper, a full-on record again. Uh, these EPs, they kind of jump the queue. I've been planning my next album since before Camouflage Kid even came out, but I still don't have a tentative release date for that yet. But it's going to be uh, that'll be called "You May Never Have Another Chance," songs about death. Uh,
uh
so we
I'm formulating
have something to
questions
look forward
already.
to.
I aren't we all looking forward to that? Whether we want to or not. But to back to Little Ice Age and specifically the title track. It why was that the song that you felt was emblematic of the collection?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's as a creator, you kind of try not to pick favorites among your babies, but I felt like Little
Oh,
Ice
don't I
Age,
know it?
the song I think felt a little more polished than the other four. Like when I listened to that one, the final cut of that one, I was like, oh yeah, this sounds done. Like it was done a little earlier than the other three because I was still doing mixing and stuff. Um, but also
So
I just thought it was a snappy title.
I love it's a title that doesn't present itself. At least if it did, I didn't catch it upon my listens. I apologize. But Little Ice Age, I speak of, and it does talk about you know kind of the barren wasteland like that the middle of Ohio tends to be, especially in the wintertime. Driving
Yeah.
along with the defendant, she'd often talk about that's where I sleep. When I would drive the car, and like we're in the middle of Cincinnati and Cleveland on the way back to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, and it's just farmland as far as the eye can see.
Yep.
So understood that, having it be an ice age and it's kind of barren, describing this relationship that formed in Ohio. I think it does encapsulate the piece as a whole. Was it you said it was just the best song and the one that you would want to direct people's attention to, it sounds like, but was that also, just the symbolism that it kind of brought the like a rug in the Big Lebowski, it kind of brought the album together.
Brought the room together.
Yes.
Sure. I mean, I can even pull back the curtain a little bit, because like the true story is, after growing up in the South, I went to college in Ohio, and I did a 4-year undergraduate degree at Kenyon College in Gambier, Ohio. And when I, late my freshman year, I met the woman who would be my first wife. She was 2 years older than me, so she graduated the year I was a sophomore, and she went to grad school at Case Western in Cleveland. So for my junior and senior years of college, I was every 2 to 3 weeks would make the drive for the weekend up to Cleveland from where I was. It was about 2.5 to 3 hours, and then back down so I could attend classes at the end of the week. At the end of the weekend, that was a lot of time spent driving through a lot of nothing. Shout out to Megan Pennington, Nowhere, Ohio.
Yeah, it occurred to me too. So
yeah, and my first wife was from Ohio. She'd grown up in the greater Cleveland area. When I graduated college and she got her master's, we got married and we moved down to Austin, Texas. We lived there for 8 years.
Right.
And that marriage did not go very well from there. We drifted apart. We eventually got divorced. And in Austin, Texas, I met Vita, the woman I'm married to now, who is also, get this, from Ohio.
You can't get away from them.
So, I've always said I didn't feel like I had a type, but apparently I have a type. And so, still visit Ohio. My wife's parents. I said my current wife. That feels so wrong.
Yeah.
If I introduced her like
no
that,
qualifier, no qualifier, especially.
Yes. As opposed to my ex-wife, my now wife, my lovely wife Vita.
Very, very good.
We still go to Ohio. We still
keep
see
climbing.
her parents. Yeah. We still go to Ohio pretty frequently to see her family. So like you said, I can't get away from it, and I have I'll call them complicated feelings about the state of Ohio.
We should just get you a gray helmet with a red stripe in the middle of it with 2 Buckeyes on it for reasons. Here on the Craig-Veltri
Go Bucks.
We're here with Jon Porobil on the Craig-Veltri interview, proud member of the Scarify Media Podcast Network, as mentioned, and music from the 412. New episodes streaming beginning every Monday at 8 a.m. and streaming all the day, all of the night on musicfromthe412.com. And by the way, Jon Porobil, the song Little Ice Age, 4 Years in Ohio, will be submitted for rotation on Music from the 412. So you talked already about the upcoming record about Depp, but I still am curious about the next EP. Is it going to tie everything together? What is the next project?
So the whole reason I wanted to do an EP after The Camouflage Kid was because I'm still immensely proud of The Camouflage Kid. It's this culmination of 4 years of work and all this this sort of bringing together of themes that I've been struggling with my whole life. But that record can be heavy, like emotionally heavy. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to have like a little side thing to show off the lighter side of my work. Those songs are intended to be happier, brighter. They're love songs. The opening track on that EP, A Drop in the Bucket, also takes place in Ohio.
Of course.
And they're lighter and more fun, was the idea there. And then Little Ice Age creatively kind of jumped the queue, and it was sort of this urgent feeling record of like loss and heartbreak. The third EP that I have in mind is going to be more overtly darker, like not just dark emotionally, but like texturally dark. I'm going to be playing with sort of harder rock textures and synthesizers. And I have 3 songs that are locked in for it. I'm trying to kind of looking through the back catalog, or maybe considering writing something new for the 4th one to make to make it lock together.
Does the upcoming project have a name?
Well, the working title was going to be Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Because one of the songs is called Friday the 13th. And I was looking at upcoming Friday the 13th to release it. Definitely not going to hit what had been my target release date because work has stalled out. But, we're looking at maybe next spring, maybe late winter. I don't know. We'll see. And if I wind up not releasing it on Friday the 13th and change the title, don't be surprised. But we'll see.
Well, we had talked about the studio and the production already last time we spoke. In fact, maybe both times that we spoke. Any goal of any business is expansion. We have worked together. I know you've worked with other artists in that basement. You had talked about maybe doing some retail spacing outside of your home. Have you moved forward at all with that?
Well, last time I floated that idea, I didn't have a day job at that point. So that seemed like a business. We'll do this whole thing. Presently now I do have a legitimate day job. So it's not, again, I keep saying economically feasible. I sound like a stuffed suit, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to
sound like an adult when you say that.
Oh, don't insult me so. But it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to throw money at like a mortgage on a or a large lease for a retail space for somewhere where I won't be able to spend 40 plus hours a week because I'm doing 40 hours a week at the day job, So I'm continuing to work out of the home studio. I just did some upgrades on the computer over there. We also did some work on the house that made the basement kind of inaccessible for a while. So, I'm still very catch as catch can with clients and focusing on my own work largely.
Jon Porobil on the Craig-Veltri interview, a brief word about his episodes and all the many episodes that will be going up on the Craig-Veltri interview archive on Patreon. Patreon.com/CVI archive is currently down for the moment. I'm currently in the process of organizing and re-recording a couple of the old episodes. I hope to have the episodes up by the end of the month, but keep it locked to all Craig-Veltri interview social medias for any drops and any episodes. $5 a month, you'll be able to access the whole entire library. I thought about staggering, but I kind of wanted to just get everything up for you guys, or at least everything up in bulk. So keep it locked to this space for further updates about the Craig-Veltri Review Archive on Patreon at patreon.com/CVI archive. You've been playing out quite a bit. You've actually been putting me a little bit to shame with some of the shows that you've been, the multitude of shows that you've been doing lately, including some theater shows and some other stuff, which is something, I mean, I don't like to label folks, but a lot of your stuff is, kind of lives on the internet, and you haven't been getting out much. You've been getting out a lot more. What's been driving you to do that?
A mix of motivation and opportunity. I had a period where I realized it had been months since my last, major show, and I've been playing out mostly the same venues over and over again. So I updated my EPK and started mailing it out to people from other venues. I would go up to some of my other friends' shows, and I would make a point of like finding the manager and meeting them and getting their contact info. And that's been paying off pretty well. I had a recent show at the Greenhouse Co-op, which is a venue I'd never played before, and I have this sort of residency deal going on with the Ghost Light Lounge, which those of you in Pittsburgh, that's the bar in front of the new Hazlitt Theater. What they've been doing as a recent initiative is opening the bar even when there's not a show at the theater, just making it a nice little hangout spot. It's really cool. It's got this like modern decor. They've got these light fixtures that are really beautiful, and it's a comfy space. The bar is well stocked. Everybody's very friendly. But what they don't have is like the word of mouth. A lot of people just don't know it exists. So, we're trying to spread the word out, and they're booking musicians almost every week. I played 3 Wednesdays in July. We called it a residency, I guess. I'll be doing 2 shows there in August and TBD, but probably some more of those in September. Those are Wednesday shows. They're free. They run 6 to 8, no cover to get in. You just show up, you vibe, listen to some music, get a drink or two at the bar. Attendance has been good, but could always stand to be better. So, getting the word out. It's a cool space. You should hang out there.
If I have a Wednesday in Pittsburgh in the coming weeks, I will. And besides, if you are there, my rule is if you're there a month, you live there basically. So that's a residency, I think.
It's a residency,
So if that expands, are you? I mean, I think if I counted correctly, I mean, you got like, that's 3 shows a month. Are you expanding on going to plan to expand, do more dates on top of that? I mean, I know you'd like to, but.
I mean, I'm basically at capacity. So, it was 3 in July. I had 1 in late June, 1 in early June, 3 in July. By the way, I don't know how soon after interview you get this to air, but this Saturday is August 8th. That's Brookline Breeze Fest. Doing a quick set at Antonio's for Brookline Breeze Fest.
Well, I'll make the announcement in the credit read, but Megan and I, Moonshine Vagabonds, will be there at 1:15 actually.
We conflict. We can't see each other's shows.
Oh, darn it. Well, we'll catch each other on the pass at least.
Yeah, we'll see. We will definitely say hi. But I still never got the full roster. I don't know who else is playing, but anyway.
I remember some names, but I'm not going to announce it because I'm not sure. I can't confirm it at the moment.
That's fair. So then August 12th and August 26th. Those are 2 more Ghost Light shows. I got September 4th at Antonio's. That's a 2-hour solo show. And then again, Ghost Light, I'm in talks with them for September too. So, continuing on, it's keeping me busy. It's putting a little extra scratch in my wallet, and I can't complain.
I mean, you do tell some really great, not just in your songs, but you do tell a lot of great stories doing that. Do you prefer the studio or do you prefer the stage?
You can't have one without the other, is how I put it, because there's the stage is, whether it's open mics or these like long 2-hour solo shows, it's a place where you can connect with the audience. You can see what's working. You can really hone the material, get it good, before even considering going into the studio. But the studio, I feel like I have way more, a much more expansive palette. There are a lot of songs on my records that I still feel like I can't do live because the arrangements just demand more than I can.
I'll mention Good Trouble
as a single person
for that reason.
Yep. We'll make that happen at one of these days. And but also like for instance, I only do 2 out of the 4 songs from the new Best Friend EP because I tried doing a drop in the bucket for an open mic and it just falls flat without the huge arrangement. That song is a big bright pop song. It's got like 3 layers of synthesizers and a piano and like all this very, very upbeat drums. It's supposed to sound like do you remember Fun from the 2010s?
Antonoff and Nate Russo, those guys were great, and I love the stuff that 2 of those members are doing now, the Format and Bleachers. So I love
it's in that, like, I was shooting for like that family of bands sonically, and it just doesn't translate to solo acoustic guitar. And then the same with the closer on that album, which is Boomerang, Viv and Hannah. Like that's more of I was aiming for yacht rock, you know, and
Mission
it's got a small
accomplished.
horn section. It's got my friend Mo Oyan playing the really complicated jazz chords on the electric guitar, and it doesn't play without those elements. It's hard to nail solo. So, and I've got a whole bunch of those that I would love to do live if I ever get the band, you know, if I can ever get a band together and learn the material, but that I feel like I just can't. And so I got to have both, right? I got to have the ability to connect with that live audience and express myself, but also the ability to go home and flesh out the ideas more than the stage permits.
I completely agree with that. I've often said that the stage and open mics, especially, have always been a part of the process of
Hmm.
of songwriting. Because once you take it out on stage, well, now you can focus group it. You can judge from the applause if the lines are
Yep.
getting certain reactions, and
Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
you kind of are editing on the fly, or in
Hmm.
some cases just taking the bastard out back and putting two in the back of the head. We have a nice way of closing here on the Craig-Veltri interview. It's called the No Kidding Questionnaire, as you know, but thankfully you've taken it twice already, and I'm happy to report that we have updated it for
Oh,
returning
good.
guests. The Craig-Veltri interviews No Kidding Questionnaire 2.0. Away we go. Jon Porobil, what sound or noise do you love?
A drop of water into a full bucket or bowl. Just a beautiful sound.
That uh just the suddenness of it, the timbre of it, the sound that it might sound like something else. Why?
It's just very pleasing, especially like if you have the transient where you can kind of where the impact is part of it, where it's like it you kind of have the physicality of the splash, but then it just kind of as it blooms out, it's this high pitch, this I don't know. I just find it a very satisfying sound.
And well, some of our listeners all of a sudden have to use the facilities after that description. On the other side of it, what sound or noise do you hate?
Um, we have a door in my house where there is a part that was painted. The paint was too thick and it sticks to the door jamb. So every time you open it, it just makes this like crackling sound where the
Oh,
paint is like sticking. Oh, yeah, yeah. I flinch every time I hear it.
sounds like it's about to break. I stayed in a I won't say the name of the place because I actually do like this hotel. It's warts and all in Myrtle Beach, but there's a door that goes out to the balcony, and it is painted in such a way it's so thick you need like two hands
Uh-huh.
to pull the thing off. And the problem with this room, unfortunately, the knob comes off in your hand on top of it. So either way, you think you're gonna break the door, and you already have broken the door. So understood.
Well, thankfully, ours hasn't broken. It just makes that sound and it makes me flinch every time. So, yeah, that's my worst noise answer.
What is the one song that you are not yet tired of playing, singing, or listening to, and it cannot be one of your own?
I do this song sometimes for, I learned this song in honor of my father,
I don't want to grow up, I
and I
think.
play it sometimes when it's near his anniversary of his death. Sorry?
Is it I don't want you cut out a little bit. Is it I don't want to grow up by Tom Waits?
No, it's Don't Let Us Get Sick by Warren Zevon. Um,
Uh
when
even
I
better.
play that song, I don't get tired of it. When I listen to that song, it makes me cry every time. My dad was a big Warren Zevon fan. I know I've learned and have incorporated into my set list like probably six Zevon songs. But Don't Let Us Get Sick. Um,
Mm, that's a good
when
one. Uh
whenever I play that song, it's got to be the last one. It's got to be the one to go out on because you can't follow it.
mm. If I will say this to anybody who's listening, I'm in good health. I hope nothing happens to me immediately. But if "Keep Me in Your Heart for a While" is not played at my memorial service, just let it be known if there is a heaven or a hell, I'm going to make sure I'm ruling in hell to make you
There you go.
make your experience better,
You,
and I'm
you
making
heard.
sure
I
you're
will
not
keep that in
getting
mind.
in. So, uh, yeah, but yeah, that song, I've been listening to Excitable Boy back to front quite a bit lately. He was great, but if speaking of people we might want to see come back, if reincarnation is real, what animal or organism do you hope to come back as?
Um, Wild elephant.
A wild elephant. Why?
They elephants in nature. They have long memories. They form close emotional bonds with other members of their troops. They have, they're capable of complex communication and play. And um, yeah, I mean, they just they seem, at least until humans came along, they seem to figure it out.
Uh yeah, I mean you're already a very tall individual. I think you're like 6'1", maybe, I think.
Um, you can keep drinking that.
Yeah.
5'11".
Okay. Okay. Well, I wear boots, so usually my
Yeah.
perspective's a little bit off. So therefore I've added 2 inches. So there you go. Um, what I know you can cook. I think it's a requirement for anybody that's lived in New Orleans. Certainly the natives. What is your favorite food to make at home?
I mean, you teed it right up. I'm just gonna lean into the stereotype, and I'm gonna say my homemade jambalaya.
You talk about it often. I've never
Yeah.
sampled.
If I'm entertaining a guest, that's gonna be one of my go-tos. It is a little more of a production, right? So like there are other dishes that I can throw together more easily and more simply at home. But I love to make and definitely love to eat a jambalaya.
Jon Porobil, what is your favorite curse word?
You know, in day-to-day life, I try not to curse that much. Um,
I've noticed
it,
that about you.
I find it can be a crutch. And then you kind of lean on it, and it's every other word. And what I found is that you can definitely deploy them in a song, and when you don't do it all the time, it has that power.
Mhm.
Um, one of the track one of the Camouflage Kid ends with a curse word, and my friends who've known me for a long time, and some of my work colleagues heard that and went, "What? Oh, okay." But uh that's enough delaying, I suppose.
Okay.
You know what? I think I've answered this before, and I think I'm going to answer differently this time because one that I really like right now is bastard. I feel like we don't say. I feel like it's kind of fallen out of fashion. We don't throw it out that much, so it still has it has regained some of that surprise, that oomph.
I love how it's just been redefined. I mean, it used to just simply
Yeah,
describe an illegitimate child, someone born out of
yeah,
wedlock. Now it's being used to describe someone who is just viciously evil.
yep,
There's a great podcast called Behind the Bastards. How I use
yep,
some of its verbiage as not so much in tribute, but just because I like some of the verbiage that they use in some of their
exactly.
production in their promotion. But yeah, I've used bastard in this interview, so I'm in favor of its
There it is.
resurgence as well. Uh, Last question of this questionnaire, John. If you were given the choice between starting life with your current knowledge again at the age of 6 or $10 million, which would you take?
Oh God. Starting life again at the age of 6 in 1991 when I was 6, or at the age of 6 now?
Mm. Starting your knowledge at the age of 6, I would assume that the qualifier would be starting over once again. So 91.
Hmm. I would go back in time for that.
You
Uh,
would.
yeah, because I think there are a lot of things that I mean, I've written songs about this. I think we've taken a lot of wrong turns, both me personally and sort of societally. That a little bit of foresight and the power that that foresight offers might be able to course correct,
Mm,
hopefully,
mm.
or at least
I,
I could say I tried.
I I may have thought that a while ago, but I read 11/22/63 by Stephen King recently.
Mm,
The it seems like, it's like, okay, we can point to this one thing in history and we can change all of that, but what if, spoiler
mhm.
alert, it screwed everything up even worse.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
I
fun fact, that's my birthday.
really,
Not 63, but
of
yeah, 11
course,
22. So, we had the fun experience of like, the school-wide announcements
yeah.
where, where they talk about news and stuff and they say, on this day in history, John F. Kennedy was shot in Dallas, Texas. Celebrating a birthday today. Like, oh, thanks, guys. It's Jonathan Porobil.
Yeah, I remember a kid. Hell, I know his name, Dwayne Matthews. His birthday was on 9/11. I can
Yep.
imagine that's his
Hmm.
that's our parents' trauma. That's our first major trauma.
100%. Yeah, it's
So
very
yes,
analogous.
so but so I sorry that I mean, I hope your day is happy and full of great memories.
Yeah.
But well, John, as you know, this is the part of the program that every guest should enjoy the most. It is time for shameless self-promotion. You've already mentioned a couple of the dates that you have, but feel free to give them again, your new music, your social media, plug your pluggables. Thank you, Robert Evans. Fire away.
For sure. Yeah. So I've been a lot more active lately on Instagram. So follow me at Jon Porobil, easy to find. It auto shares all that stuff to Facebook and Threads because they're all this. Everything's all one company these days. I share more esoteric personal thoughts on Blue Sky sometimes when I feel like it. At Jon Porobil on Blue Sky too. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, I've got no shortage of live shows coming up. Like I said, August 8th. Brookline Breeze Fest at Antonio's. I'll be playing at 1 p.m. Or you guys go next door and catch Moonshine Vagabonds at 1:15. Either way, we win. Then I'm playing August 12th and August 26th at Ghostlight Lounge, and then September 4th back at Antonio's. And then in the future, who else knows? I don't know. Find me around town. Any off weeks, I'll probably be at the Starlight Lounge. They have the best open mic in the city on Wednesdays, so catch me there too.
Well, John, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. The last bit of stuff you've been doing has been great. I look forward to the next EP, the next LP, the next whatever the hell it is you're doing next. John Porobil, thank you so much for joining me here today on the Craig-Veltri interview.
Oh yeah, it was my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
The Craig-Veltri interview, where Craig-Veltri interviews wonderful people, is a production of Scarfire Media, the voice of the independent artist. Written and edited by Craig-Veltri. Your announcer is Megan Pennington. The opening theme, Shut Up I Love You, written by Trenton Chandler and Craig-Veltri, performed by Craig-Veltri, produced by Jack Gavin. Inside the Cabin is available now on all streaming. Support Moonshine Vagabonds by downloading directly from Bandcamp. Time now to update the event calendar because you must know where I am at all times. Friday, August 7th, Moonshine Vagabonds take on Perrytown's Tap Room in Westview, Pennsylvania from 8 to 10 p.m. Then on Saturday, the 8th, Moonshine Vagabonds head for Brookline and the Brookline Breeze Fest at 1:15 p.m. Saturday, the 8th, that evening, I will be heading to Canton, Ohio for Grapes in a Glass once again, this time for Hall of Fame weekend. So it's going to be busy. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there from 8 to 11 p.m. Then on Wednesday, the 12th, I will be heading back down to Myrtle Beach at my favorite place in Myrtle Beach by far, Tin Roof, from 6 to 9 p.m. For full dates, including Atlanta, Chicago, and Nashville, visit the brand new craig-veltri.com. For booking info, including full band and this podcast, email me at craig-veltri@gmail.com. You can find the interview on Facebook by searching the Craig Veltri interview, YouTube at Craig Veltri Music, music from the 412.com, and you can find me on Instagram, or as my old roommate, the Tommy Thomas, used to call it, Instagirl, at craig.veltri. For Jon Porobil, I'm Craig-Veltri, and this has been the Craig-Veltri Interview. With that, I'll pass. Here's the title track off his EP, Little Ice Age. It's Jon Porobil closing out the Craig-Veltri Interview, proud member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network, and music from the 412.
I believed you when you warned me I would be halfway to Florida now. But someone built a snowman on the highway, and it's way too late to turn back anyhow. 'Cause I spent 4 years in Ohio. Was that not punishment enough? When I spent those 4 long years in Ohio, the worst thing that Ohio did to me was it made me fall in love. You can't wish away a dark cloud. I can't sing the sunshine back. I may not know the way to paradise, but I know we're on the wrong track. 'Cause I spent 4 years in Ohio. Was that not punishment enough? When I spent those 4 long years in Ohio, worst thing that Ohio did to me was it made me fall in love. 'Cause everything that soars is doomed to clumsy tumble. Made me fall in love. 'Cause everything that thaws is doomed to freeze. It seems she made me fall in love. Everything we said to one another was ironic or a lie. It made me fall in love. Made me fall in love. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. 'Cause I spent 4 years in Ohio. It seemed the only thing to do. When I spent those 4 long years in Ohio, the worst thing that Ohio did to me